Hello everyone, welcome to the next session of SAP Security. In this session we will be discussing about end user role development. We will see an actual scenario of a project implementation. How do we develop an role? Because so far what we have seen is on bits and pieces. Let's put it together and see one scenario, actual scenario, how the role is developed in a SAP implementation. For this we will be using an Excel sheet for the entire session, and this will be our Excel sheet. Okay, let me start from beginning. At first what we will be doing is we need to define our naming convention for our AP role. This is very important. The naming convention plays a very important role in your authorization design, because from the name itself that you can find out this role belongs to what purpose on which company. That's going to help you a lot in a long run, because in the end you are going to deal with couple of hundreds of roles. In that case, if you have a proper naming convention, by looking at the role you know, okay, this is a wrong assignment, or this role should not be assigned to this user, or this is the role which I should look for. So it's very important that you define a proper naming convention for your authorization concept. So this is actually an example to give you an idea how you can derive for a naming convention. Does not need to be in the same fashion, and you can change based on your situation. So what I do is, okay, my namespace starts with Z. So if, let's say, if you have your own reserved namespace, then you will start with that reserved namespace. Then my first two digit I reserved for module, FI, COSD, or whatever. So I have Z, then underscore, first two digit, this 11 is for module, and then I put another separator, underscore. The underscore is the best separator, because you may also seen in lot of roles people use this, or lot of objects people use this underscore is the best separator. The reason is that if you use underscore, the visibility of the actual content is quite clear. Otherwise, if you use some another characters in the middle, then the visibility of the actual message goes off. That's the reason underscore is the best separator for any of the technical objects. And the second one is role type. Here what we are trying to do, that we are defining a role type. If, let's say, for master role we define it as M, for derive role we define it as D, for single role we say S, and for composite role we say C. So by looking at this particular character we know whether it's a composite role or single role. As you've seen in our SAP, that you put a role name, it does not show you whether it's going to be a single role, whether this is a single role or composite role from the name. Even in your PFCG it will not, you may not be able to see that until unless you go to display mode and see inside the role what is inside, then only you can differentiate whether it's a single role or composite role. Otherwise you have to take this role and assign to a user, then you can find it out from that from the property of the role whether it's a single role or composite role. So we identify this role like this: if it is M, then it's a master role; if it is D, if it is then it's a derive role; then if it is S, it's a single role; and if it is C, it's a composite role. Again, this is, in this scenario we are using it like that. Actually this is a real implementation scenario, so which I would like to share with you. Then the next Next one is organization unit. This is 333. Okay. Next I am using organization unit. The organization unit which I would like to do is based on company code, maybe, or maybe based on plant, or maybe the combination of all. So whatever the best way, let's say the organization, the main location or main way this organization divided is based on the plant or based on the sales organization. So you have one company code, but you have different sales organization and different locations, so you can differentiate by sales organization. Otherwise, let's say one character you reserved for whether to identification, it's a sales organization, it's a sales, yes, then with some numbers, or plant p some numbers, whatever. So we need to identify different organization units which is used for a different one org unit to a different org unit. That's quite important in the name. Then what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make a difference based on what it can do. Let's say if I say all ALL, then it has all authorization, it can create, maintain, change, delete everything. Then if I say DIS, then it's for display. If I say MTN, then it is maintenance, create, change and delete everything. If I say CRE, then it's for creation. So this is a function of this role, whether it is display, maintain or create, like this. Then I have a free text which you can say, yeah, some job definition. So we'll see how do we use this. So this is the first step, that we need to define a naming convention. This is an example. We can still further go down, drill down. We can say this is an end user role, we can say critical role, or this is a data migration role. Like this kind of identification, we can say CRI, that means it's a critical role instead of the C. Then okay, then by looking at the role, we know it's a critical role, we should not be assigned to end users. We can still further down this naming conventions. Next, what I am going to do, I need to define my single role names based on the naming convention what I have created. So based on the analysis what I have done from my functional team or the business blueprint, I need to have these many functions, that means the single role in the whole entire business process. This is again an example, just took it out some of the single role which may come into plant maintenance for our example. So based on what we have studied, the business blueprint, and these are all the functions which we are going to use inside the SAP. Here what I am, again, from these functions I derived these names. So first one is master maintain characteristics. In this one, what I did is z again underscore PM plant maintenance and single role. Then my organization unit I put 999 and MTN for maintain and characteristics I put character. In my definition, 999 means this have all authorization. 000 means it have no authorization. Okay, we also mentioned it here. 999 means all authorization, 000 means none. 999 means that organization units, whatever we need to key in, that we will be putting a star. In 000 what we will be doing is we will leave it blank as a master role with a variable. So that's the idea behind that, the 999 and 000. So here all these roles which I know you don't need to differentiate for separate org unit, because this is like this will be centrally controlled in any organization, like maybe a shared data, shared services or somebody. Okay, so in my business scenario, say this is only 999 all org unit star. That means this is master data maintenance. In most of the bigger multinational companies, you will find this shared services who will do the master data maintenance. That's the reason I said 999. It does not make any value addition if I create separate org unit for these roles. And my next process is processing technical objects. Here I will create one master role which is identified as M, and another maintenance role and process tech object, and I will have one more role which says all, that means single role 999. So I have one master role which is 000, which has only variables, and the next single role which is 9999. The idea behind this master role and single role, this going to be an independent role. This will be a master role, this single role is going to be an independent role, or we can define this as a derived role also. Yeah. But the concept here is that if you say single role, it will be an independent single role. If it is M means it's a master role, if it is D means it's a derived role. So in this concept we will have a, even though this is for the same authorization with the same object, but this is a single role which is an independent single role. Okay, we are not doing a derived role here. That's idea. But in a real scenario, this may be a derived role which has an awk value is star. That will be a best case scenario. For example, why we put it here is this customer was very specific. I want to have this role as an independent role. People going to use it across the awk unit can have some variations from this master role, so they can change it. So this may not be, maybe after our implementation they should have changed the single role with something else, added some other additional authorization object, I don't know. So this is a different approach. That's what I like to highlight it here. Then we come to the next process, which is called processing of maintenance plant. This also have a master role and a all role. Then we have the document management. This also have a master role and all role. This is master. Then we have a warranty master, same like master and all. Then we have creation of notification, and we have put in progress of notification. So once we have done this, then we will go to the next step. Now we know what are all the roles we need to create and what are all the master role we need to create. Now we need to know how many derived roles we may require based on our organization setup. So we will now define the organization levels. We call this also org levels or G levels, org levels. Here what I am trying to do, I am not going to create the organization levels. I don't name this organization level based on a company code or based on a plant or based on a sales organization. This is a different approach. You can use this approach, because if let's say I have a company which had different business units. One business unit deals with automation, one business deals with trading, one business unit deals with services. So this is different business units. Inside the business unit you will have different plants and different locations and different sales organizations. Then if I start defining everything into my role, then I need to put the sales organization. Then inside this sales organization, for example, if I define this one, yeah, then I will say some role name, role name, then underscore with the company code 1000, then under this sales organization 1020, sorry, 1020, under the sales organization this is for the maintenance plans 1100. Then my organization level name itself is becomes so big, so we will not have enough space to identify the entire role. So I have a different idea how do we tackle this one. We will define a different name, or you can have a separate database, and that name have maybe 4 or 5 or maybe 6 8 digit name. That name should describe the organization level. So we will create a set of organization level, then we will give a organizational level set name. Okay, the organization level set name for this combination is 10GP1. Okay, here what I am trying to make is 10 means the company code 10, because the company code, if you see, we have it like 1 000 and 2 000, 3 000 like this. Then if it says 10, if something starts with my organization level start with 10, that means I know this belongs to the company code 1 000. If it is starts with 20, then I know this belongs to 2 000. Okay, then what I am trying to do, the third character I am saying G, that means this is for Germany. So same like that, another one is also like Germany, which is in a different location. Next what I am trying to do is P, means plant 1. So my identification here is this is based on the plant. So if it is sales organization, you say S1. You can create some interesting concept there. So once I create the set of organization levels, then I will give a organization level set name. So within this name will be a smaller than the actual, if I need to define, then make a small name like this, then use this name as a in your roles, then you can limit the number of characters which is required for your role name. So here I have 3 different organization levels. The third one is 20, which is F in France. This is my plant 3. In many bigger organization, what I have seen, they will have an structure to define the company based on the geographical location. They will have each geographical location will be divided into many divisions, then it will have a different numbering and naming based on their names. It will have a different naming concepts. So we can also use that, we can also use it here, then it will be quite easy to identify these organization levels. So I created 3 organization level based on this input. To make it easy, I am going to put all these values as star. Purchase group and purchase organization. So that the values here, this, if you see the company code means $BUKRS, that means it's a company code, $EKGPR, that is purchase group, like this. These are all the variables for each organization levels. You don't need to remember it. Anyway, when you are creating roles, this will be populated automatically. You will come to know this quite easily. Or if you are a little bit functional background, then you know how to find this one. Okay, next, once I define the organization levels, my next step is to define the single role and the transaction code required for this single role. Now I know what is my function. For example, warranty master is a function. What are all the transaction code inside this warranty master? Still now I don't know. So my next step is to define what are the transaction code inside each single role. For that, what I did, when you are defining a business blueprint, that you will have an idea based on the process flow, business process flow, or your test document or test scenarios, you know already what all the transaction codes are being used or transaction codes are being called. This input you can get it from your business blueprint or from the functional consultant. So you can get it from the functional consultant, then just list down all the possible transaction code in this sheet on this business scenario. So I'm talking about only plant maintenance, yeah, only for PM. Separate it by module. That will be very easy to do. If you put everything together, it's going to look so big, then it will not be a very nice Excel sheet to follow. So even for plant maintenance, for example, you again categorize based on the submodule to each worksheet or different worksheet or different Excel sheet you create. Break it down into small, because we are going to deal with quite a lot of transaction code and authorization objects. So for example, this is one of the smallest one which I could find from one of the implementation. This itself have 181 transaction codes or columns. Okay, something around 170 odd transaction code. So break it down as much as possible, divide it by modules, then go by submodules. Under the submodules, if you have a separate business process wise division, whatever you have defined in your functional specification, how does functional is going to follow this, and they are customizing and changes, go based on that one. So in this scenario, what we are doing is that we took all the transaction code which is possibly used in this business scenario. We listed out everything, this transaction code, and this is the transaction name. We can actually get this transaction names easily from SAP. It's quite easy. There is a table called TSTZ. You just go and put this transaction code, then you will get the names. Then forgot to mention that the TSTZ is a very interesting table. We seen how to find what is the program for each transaction code by using the status in the SAP GUI. The SAP GUI, from where it gets from the TSTZ. So if I can show it in the system, go to your SAP system, run the transaction code SC16 table browser, then type in the table name TSTZ. In this table, I'm going to put the transaction code which I'm going to use, IE24, IE25, then click execute. Then you got transaction code IE25. This is the program it used, and the screens and other information. This is the text, create production resource tool. So this is a very interesting table. Let's say you know the program and you don't know the transaction code, then we can use it like this. Or in some cases, what we do, that we wanted to check whether this program can be executed directly. Let's check SU01. SU01, this is the program. So instead of calling the transaction code SU01, I can call this program directly. I can execute the program directly. Yeah. So what we do is we go to SC38 or SA38. Let's go to SA38 to execute a program. Then we put the program name here. It says ABAP program execution. We put the program name here and just run it. So you came to SU01. You did not call by transaction code. So in this case, is it checking yes underscore T code with field name TCD SU01? Maybe it checks, maybe it's not. In most of the cases, yes, it checks. But if it is a custom transaction code, there the complication starts. Then we need to check whether this is being checked or not. So for that, we will be using this table to find out what is the transaction code used for this particular program. Or maybe if you are using lot of customized program, you will also have this kind of complication that you people will double create multiple transaction code for one program. So you will come to all these kind of complication. Then these kind tables information becomes quite handy, that to find out this program belongs to what transaction code and how many transaction codes are available for this program. Okay, that is about TSTC. Let's come back to our course. Then once we found out all the transaction code, then we map this transaction code to the roles. So this is our roles, and this is the technical name. Now we need to map the transaction codes. Cannot view this properly. Now I change the zoom level a little bit. Then say I don't need this one, I will make it smaller, because anyway I only need to know the name, what I'm going to do. This also I don't need full, smaller. Okay, now I go one by one transaction and define which of this business process required this transaction code. Maintain display permits. Okay, this needs to be done by technical objects. So IE25, this is an technical object. IE31 technical object. IE27 technical object. So like this I will go each and every transaction code and map this transaction code to a specific role. So here I also not using some of the transaction codes, some display transaction codes. And here I like to make another one point. The reason we did not mark this display transaction codes, whenever you design an authorization concept like this, we create one role specific for display. Okay, so all this display authorization what we have here, 1 2, all this display authorization, display transaction code, we will put it aside and we will create one display role for the entire business process. Then it's quite simple. Whoever want to display something, we simply assign that one, and anyway it's going to be a display. And one more main point, that whenever you create any display role, use only display related transaction code and create it. You can also use, let's say for sales order display, you can use VA01, and inside this VA01 go to the authorization object and you can change the authorization object to have activity 03. Then you can go to VA01, but you can only have display, or instead of VA01 let's take from plant maintenance, for like IW51, last section what we have seen, instead of 53 you assign 51 and change the authorization object value to 03, then they can only display. Okay, that is possible technically, but use IW53. Then the advantage is that you have a display specific authorization role. Otherwise what will happen is, over a period of time, that your concept is going to be somehow will get lost. So whenever you create a display authorization role, use the display transaction codes only. Like this scenario, which actually we did not create a display role here, I removed it, it seems to be quite big. Then you create a single role for each business object for display only. Then you can put all this together and create one job role saying that display. So display for plant maintenance, display for SD, like this. So if you want, somebody can want to display all the documents in our SAP system, you give all display role to him or to that user. That is quite simple. So once I identify all these transaction code and the roles, then I will go to the next level. That's quite a lot of transaction code. We did not use it here. Maybe it's not related here, like service order creation, change service order, and display service order, because it's not defined in our this one. So okay, now we got the organization levels and we got the roles and the transaction code. Now we need to define how many derived roles which we required based on the single roles and the organization levels. So organization levels, we have 3 organization levels. So each of these role which defined here as a master role may require additional 3 derived roles. And what we did here is that I changed from that single role to derived role, so that the 999 also can be a derived role. That will be quite easy to maintain it. But this was an actual requirement from the customer. They said this 999 should be an independent single role. Yeah, it's also possible. Then we can identify it separately. Then whenever you do a change, then you know that you are not going to do it in the master role. You will do it directly in the single role and transport it. Okay, so based on the organization level and the single roles what we have come to a conclusion of how many master role and single role which we required. Okay, just it's quite simple. Actually, you can, if you use it or not, you can create and keep it, because it's quite easy to manage. So you can create it and keep it. But if it is too many roles, let's say something around, we are talking about 100 to 100,000 up or single roles, then you don't do that. Yeah? So if it is something 20,000 30,000 role, doesn't matter, you can create it for all the organization levels and keep it. Or if it is quite big, yeah, for me I will say more than 50-60,000 uh, roles, derived roles, or all technical roles together, then don't create derived roles which you do not require. Yeah, you do not require all the derived role for all the organization levels or all the organization units, business units, which is available in your business. There is a problem is that it's going to increase the size of your database. And remember, this authorization objects, the technical objects in the authorization setups are quite big. So archiving this also is a one big challenge. So don't make it so big. So you make it so big, then there is something called UTAB in SAP, that UTAB will become so big, then we need to maintain all these logs for these changes and stuff like this. It's going to increase the space, database size is going to increase quite a lot. So if it is a small setup, then you can create it and keep it. If it is a bigger setup, don't create the derived roles if it is not used. In many of the cases what we have seen, that maybe 7-8 plus years systems, big system which has 200,000 above roles, which is quite difficult to manage, then we will come back to find out what all the organization, what all the roles which is not used in the system, and we'll start deleting these roles. And deleting also again a problem. Yeah, when you delete a role, then you need to keep the data for the deletion records, that how many roles you have deleted. That also somehow technically you need to save it in the SAP. So it's quite complicated. That's the reason I'm saying, if you are not, if you don't require these roles, don't create it in a bigger systems. In the small systems, it's fine. From this combination we defined this many derived roles. Then we come to the next stage. Now we need to define the job role or composite role. In our authorization concept, the concept what we are defining, we will assign only job roles. We don't assign any single roles. This is our concept. Okay, now This is our job roles. My job role is based on the job function. So each position in your business have a job role. Let's say service director, he have a job role. Service manager, this position have a job role. And service representative, it's a position, it has a job role. And warranty admin is a position, it has a job role. And a process owner is a position, it has a job role. And each job role will have its own single role, whatever it may require. Okay, then for each job role I will create additional job role for the respective organization units. Now we come to a very important point. Only the single role will have master role and derived role. Composite role does not have master role and derived role. The reason is composite role is not a technical role. It's like a container. It's okay. It's technically defined as an object, but it does not hold any authorization object as such. So authorization objects and your organization levels, everything sits in your single role. So it does not sit in your composite role. That's the main reason that you cannot have derived role for a composite role. A composite role is one role which is collection of single roles. So what we are trying to do, that we will create a role named as a composite role with the organization levels, but we will assign the respective single roles for this specific organization level to this composite role. Then it will become a derived composite, kind of derived composite role. Technically, even though if it is not derived, kind of derived composite role. So let's so far we did not mark. Let's mark it. For service director, what role he may require. So my business says he need all this one, he is going to do for everybody, and he also need authorization for all plants. So I give him all authorization. Actually, in a real-time scenario, they only require display authorization. That's what I have seen in a bigger organization for reporting purpose. Then I will come to service manager. Service manager for my organization level 10 GP1. So this service manager needs service manager. He don't do the central job, he will do only for this specific organization. So what he will get, this one, and this one, the next one also same like that. Mark the next service manager. Next one also same. Okay, so all the service manager got all the jobs. Then service representative, what is the service representative will do? They will create notification. So I will go to create notification. This is a service representative for this company. The next one is for the next one, then third one. This is also service representative. Then the warranty admin, we have it for 3. Who is the warranty admin? We have only these 3. The warranty admin also required additional authorization apart from processing warranties. So what he needs based on my business process, they also need put the notification into in progress. So once they finish their warranty process, they will put the notification into in progress. So they need this additional authorization for each organization levels. So I will assign also these additional authorization to these users. Then what else we need? Okay, that's it. That's what we need. Then we have process owners. Oops. Process owners, we need this one, this one, and this one. Same like that. Maintaining this process plant, also we need this, and this. This also a process. Okay, so process owners, each process owner can do technical object, and they can maintain the plant, and they can maintain the document management which is related to their process. Okay, so we have mapped all the single role to the composite role. Now we need to create the roles in the system. So let's go to the single role. Now okay, now let's create one by one. First I will create this one. This is the role. They go to PFCG, we can do it faster. Change, sorry, create. Okay, I will not create menus to reduce the time. Authorization, got to change authorization, yes. It's anyway single role with the 999. We did not have organization levels because this particular transaction code does not have any org levels. It is for all org level sets, so it's fine. So finished one. Let's go to the next one. So what I will do here, I will say select all. Create If you see in this scenario that we have two transaction code which also used in a different single role, so this is fine to do. So this is the perfect way to do, because otherwise what you need to do is you need to create a role which is separate for only these two, then start assigning this one. That will become more complicated. So whatever fits for the specific business process, in one business process assign all the role. Does not matter if it is coming in a different roles, then it will ease the job. Okay, now we created all the master role. Let's create the template roles now. Where did I come? Yeah, yes. This role have quite many transaction code. Let's see whether we can put all the transaction code in one go. Nope. Up to 02 it came. Here we need to copy again. Okay, this is not a valid transaction code. This was some set transaction code. Okay, that's fine. Let me put the next set. This came till IL05. Then I need to put this again. Okay, so we assign all the transaction code for this single role. We assign transaction authorization, change authorization, say yes. This leave it blank. Just make all this yellow go away. As I said, please check before doing this. An actual scenario. So we created our first master role, which has all the organization level blanks. And okay, I forgot to mention this. There is one more trick to check whether any values are still not okay. You go and select full authorization here, then you can see I have still some yellow marks left out here. We can fix it, make everything green or whatever. If you want to delete some objects, you can delete whatever the changes you like to do, you can do that. Everything is green. Now I'll go to organization again, say delete or select all, simply delete and save. Now it become red, so we don't have any more yellow. So you go to org levels, assign ones, everything is cleaned, then just remove it, then this will become the awk value again, the variable again. So the variables are here. Okay, I will save and generate. It's fine to generate. I go to my second role. So we come to the last one. That's notification in progress. Create, put this in process. Okay, and this one again come to notification change, but here they talking about notification in progress only, and not the entire notification change. For this we need to understand the entire business process. If you really like to know what is in progress means, then we need to understand the entire business process, which we may have no interest to do that. But there is a shortcut to find what all the authorization object which is required to put the notification into process. By tracing the authorization, we can ask the functional consultant to execute the notification in progress status, or how do they change this one. That by the same time we can trace that user and find out what is the authorization object it is checking for, and that's the best way to find it out. For time being, I'll just put everything so that we can continue our actual creation of derive role quite faster. Okay, we created all our master roles. Now our next step is to create the derive roles. For example, the first one, the single role, again it's an independent single role, so we don't need to do anything. Now let's start with our master role derive role concept. Let's create a derive role. You've seen the how much time we have taken to create each master role, and now we are going to create the derive role, and you see how much time it's going to take. It's going to be very fast. Zero maintenance plan is 1100. Controlling area is star, and plan version star, and maintenance plans is 1100 and 100. The first one is maintenance planning plant. We have here, we don't have maintenance planning plans. Then I will say put star. Save. Just keep the yellow for time being. We can regenerate again, because this again generated from the we created all these derive roles. Now we have quite yellow traffic lights here, so let's fix that. Go to master role, go to change, and go to authorization, and say generate derive role fine. I have all authorization, then say generate. You can see it's generating one by one, and I go to any one of the drive role, open another session, UCG. So now everything is green. That means all the drive role, we got all the objects from the master role. Like this we can create all the drive roles for different other roles. Let's do it first. Okay, now we created all the roles, all the derived roles. Now let's create the composite role. How do we create a composite role? Paste, create a composite role. This is for service director. Say composite role, say yes. Then let me set a filter here. Okay, I'll say what role is selected for this director. Select all the roles. Say okay, and same like this we can create for all. This is a composite role for the next one. Service manager from first plant. So simply select. Then okay, the third one, this is the service manager from the second plant. This is done. This is from service manager of third plant. So like this we can create composite for role for each job function. Okay, now we have created the entire single role and the job role for our business process. Thank you very much for listening. I will see you in the next session. Bye bye.